2. Private creditors like Blue Owl withholding customer withdrawals. Is this giving flashbacks to 2008 where nobody could take out their money? When that happened, the market crashed and burned. 2. Semiconductors holding up the market just by a hair. And with an elevated VIX and the US sending aircraft carriers to Iran, are we about to see a market crash? And on top of that, is crypto dying? Welcome to Nova Street Finance. In today's episode, we will look at the broad market and come up with a trade plan to get you having enough money to take your girl to a 5-star dinner at Wendy's. Subscribe for more insight to how I trade and additional resources like one-on-one mentoring. And always comment down below for questions you want me to answer in the next episode. Now, let's get into it.
Sitting down 875 points.
We've now broken down 10,000. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 900 points.
Market didn't work. It broke down. The machines broke down.
Fear came back into the market in a very big way.
Now, looking at the broad market, the S&P 500, obviously, we're still in the uptrend. We really don't have nothing that's telling us, hold on, there's a crash coming. So looking at the S&P's weekly chart, you can see we're in a big range consolidation right here, right? We're basically been in this range for 3 whole months, right? But now, I believe we have news to take us somewhere, right? The Supreme Court strikes down Trump's tariffs, right? What does that mean? I believe this is a news that's actually going to take us somewhere. For 3 months, we basically just been bobbing around. What news, asking ourselves, what news is going to take us to the moon, right? What news is going to get us back in the uptrend or a downtrend? Now, going to the daily chart, right, where every single bar is a day, right? Where if price goes up, a little crash course for you guys. If price goes up, you make money, right? If you're holding stock, right? And if price goes down, and of course, this is a price right here, right? So looking at the chart, we've been, like I said, we've been bobbing around. And how could we play this, right? We got a big green bar today, so we know something's going to happen, right? Now, I'm going to give you 3 ways you can possibly trade this. Now, if you're bullish, right? Meaning you think price will go up, right? Here's one trade you can construct. You can go to trade, right? I'm on Thinkorswim, trade. Then you can go 28 days from now. You can see 28 days, meaning the max you can hold this option we're about to get in. Or you can pick 7 days, or you can pick 3 days, right? It doesn't matter, right? For this example, we're going to go 28 days. And basically, we're going to do something called a put credit spread, right? It is a bullish trade. So I'm going to basically make a trade at our support lines, right? I'm going to sell the 675 put, and I'm going to buy the 670 put, right? And that's going to give us basically $100, right? Basically, you can just multiply that by 100, and that's going to give you the actual money you will receive, right? Now, let's put this in English. I sold the 675 put, right? I sold that. Then we bought the 670, right? So we sold the 675. We bought the 670. And then we said the max we can hold this is 28 days, right? Basically, if SPY, right, our stock, our ETF, is above our 675 line, and we know we've been bobbing around for 3 months, basically, all we needed is above 675, and we will make plus $100 max per contract, right? If you had 5 contracts, that would be $500. If you had 10 contracts, that'd be $1,000, right? So the most we can make is $100 on the trade. The most we can lose is 400, right? If we go below this line, right? So if SPY goes all the way down there, most we can lose is 400, and most we can gain is 100. So you can think of this trade as, I think we're going to go up, right? I think we're going to go up, but I'm not sure if we're going to go down a little bit, then back up. I'm not sure, but I think we're going to be above 675. So that is one trade you can do. And then after 28 days, if you get it, congratulations. So if you're saying, Sid, that's good and all, but I know for a fact we're going to go up. I know, you say to yourself, I know we're going to go way up here. We're going to even pass 700, right? I'm super bullish in 28 days or the time frame you pick, right? Well, you can go to trade back to 28 days and you can go ahead and buy our 695 call, right? Another bullish play, right? Call. We're buying a call, just one singular call, right? This is going to cost us $928. Now, let's do this trade in English. We bought the 695 call, right? I'm going to mark it right here. We bought that call, right? And we paid what did we pay? 985 or something? I don't remember. We paid, let's just say we paid 985, right? Well, that's a whole lot of money you could lose if at 28 days it does not get here, right? However, what's different from this trade, our last trade, the most you can make is 100. Well, the most you can make here, right? If you actually get your move, right? Boom. The most you can make here, let me calculate it on the Analyze tab. So I just looked at the profits. So let's say SPY rallies all the way up here, right, to the blue line, right? Let's say you got your move right. Let's say you got your move right and we rallied way up there, right? Well, if it gets to 700, you'll be up a whopping $510 around there, right? Boom. You'll be making 500 off of 900, right? So if you had 2 contracts, you'll be up 1,000, right? 2 contracts for the other one was 200. 2 contracts of this, you would have like 1,020, right? Now, the good thing about the call, right? Let's say this thing rallied to 730, right? Let's say in 28 days, this thing just shot way up there, right? With the put, you'll be only up $100, right? But with the call, right, you'd be up a whopping $3,000, right? So the good thing about trade number 2, right, where we sold the 695 call, right? If this thing went let's say in 28 days, this thing got all the way up, right? Let's say it went all the way up to 730, right? Which it can, right? You'd be up about 3,500 for one contract, right? If you had 2 contracts, that's 7,000, right? So, but only with one trade, from $900, your $900 turned in to 3,500, right? But if you did trade number 1, you would only be making that $100. So you're asking yourself, damn, Sid, why would I ever do that trade? Why wouldn't I just buy a call, right? Well, one, it's kind of hard for regular people to just risk $900, right? That's kind of hard to do. And number 2, if this thing starts doing this, right? Literally that, or it goes down and then does that, then it goes down again, then that, then back up, and boom, your whole 900 is gone. When buying calls, you need your move to happen rapidly in basically a couple days. You cannot afford this to happen. With trade number 1, right, where we only needed it above 695, you can afford for this to happen. You can afford boop, 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 boop. You can afford all that, right? And basically, you'll still make money, right? Even if it starts here, then it ends down here, right, at 680, you make money. You make the $400. It just needs to be above your line. With the call, if it does that, your whole 900 is gone. No way of getting it back. So that's why I prefer selling a put. You can just get 10 contracts if you want with $1,000 max profit. So you can always add more contracts. And yeah, if you bought this 695 call, right, and this thing is doing this, you heard that right. If you bought this call and this thing does this, oh yeah, you heard that. If you bought this call and this thing does this, oh yeah, it is not going to be good. So you're asking yourself, okay, Sid, I don't think it's going to go up. I think this tariff thing is nonsense. I think we're going to strike Iran. I think Blue Owl's withholding people's money because they have no money. The economy is going to crash. I think we're going to go all the way down here. I will give you a trade for you. Like always, we'll go to trade. We'll pick 28 days or any amount of days you want, right? Picking the amount of days is going to basically, more time you have, the more money you'll get, basically. So we'll pick 28 days just because we want to pick 28 days. We'll make a bearish play that's conservative. I'm going to sell this 700. Then I'm going to buy the 710, right? So our max profit doing this, right? We're going to receive a credit max profit. It's going to be $394. Now let's make this make sense, right? Now looking at the chart, let's make this make sense. We're going to sell the 700 and we're going to buy the 710, right? And basically, if it stays below this yellow line, you make $390, I can't even, $95, right? You make $395. So it can do bloop, 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 pop, boop, 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 boop. It can do anything, right? It could do it can even go up where you don't want it to go. And as long as it stays below 395 in 28 days, or if it goes down automatically, you'll be probably up 200. You can take this trade one off whenever. But as long as it doesn't go way up here, you are absolutely fine. The most you can lose on this trade, right, is $605, right? If that's too much, you can always make the width shorter. You can sell the 700 and buy the 705, and the most you can lose on this would be around 200 to 300. But for this trade, the most you can lose is 600. The most you can make is 395, and we don't care what it does, right? As long as it stays, if you're bearish, as long as it stays below 700, which it's been going up, rejected, going up, rejected. So that's another way to play it. And now for crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, XRP. These are ugly, ugly charts, and we're going to come up with trades, but it's not looking good for crypto. It is not looking good for crypto. Man, even looking at posts like this, you can see like people are just, right? This guy calls crypto utterly useless, right? Like it just does not look good for crypto, right? On the daily chart, we can see a big downtrend, right? But I will tell you this, like anything, you want to buy low and sell high. So if you believe in crypto, this is the perfect time to buy. Why would you be buying up here when you can wait for a pullback, when everybody's scared, right? Warren Buffett says, when everybody's fearful, you buy. When everybody's greedy, this is all greed, right? You sell. So everybody's fearful. You just saw that news article, right? Fearful, we buy. Greedy, we sell, right? So let's come up with a trade for Bitcoin, right? So looking at Bitcoin, just to give you guys some free game, right? Usually I reserve these type of trades for my students. But one thing I would probably do, right, if I get into crypto, which I'm actually in crypto, I sold puts on BitX, right? And I'm receiving money until I get assigned shares, or that's what I'm doing right now. But another trade you can do if you don't have thousands of dollars to sell puts on is I would target a trade that has a short-term rally and a rejection, right? It just we'll get up here, we'll rally, then we'll reject, right? I mean, I feel like that's the only logical thing for now, right? I'm not talking about in 3 years. I'm talking about in the next couple of days or week. I feel like we can kind of predict, right? Down, chop up, down, chop up, down, right? I think that's pretty safe to say, right? And let's construct a trade that shows that, right? Looking at the bat, I can already tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell the 45 call, and then I'm going to sell the 35 put, right? All right. Looking in the option chain, right? Like I said, I was going to sell the 45 call. Wow. They're not giving you a lot of money on this thing. Wow. Then I'll sell the 35 put, right? And for this trade, it's called a strangle. I'm going to receive $118. So putting this trade to English, right? I sold the 45 call, right? Then I sold the 35 call, right? And we called it, and this is called a strangle, right? There's many different type of strategies. This one's called a strangle, right? So basically, as long as it stays anywhere, it can do anything in here, and we'll receive our full, right, $118 per contract, right? Boom. 118 as long as it stays in here by 28 days or less, honestly. The trade plan was to play something like that. A quick upturn, right? Which this upturn, you'll be losing money here, but gaining money here. Then boom, you can take that off if you want. Then you'll get your downturn, right? Because it's still bearish. Everybody thinks it's crap. Back down where you can take your profits here if you want, or keep it on. And while this is getting tested, going back down, this will start making money, and boom, you can see that full profit of 118, or if you get 10 contracts, 1,018, or whatever amount of contracts you decide to get. Looking at trades I did today, it's 11:45. They literally just took off the profit. That's pretty annoying. But I made, I think, near 100 or something, a couple hundred on selling puts on these. On these three trades. Wow, it's 11:45. They took off they took away the options. It would have showed a couple hundred profit right here, but they took them off. The options expired. But like I said, 0 DTE. Let's go to Microsoft. So looking at my first trade in Microsoft, right, it was around 8:30. When I saw that, I knew we would get something bullish, right? I knew it would be I knew it would be going up, right? So basically, I went in and I sold a 0 DTE 395 naked put, right? And I received plus 90 per contract, right? And I think I got a couple contracts. And as you could tell, right? We just rallied up, right? And I was even wrong, as you can tell, right? Because I was real happy up here, right? Then we came basically way down. And since I sold the 395, as long as it stayed above this line, I made money. And that's why I think selling puts are way better. Now, for my next trade I did, right? I knew we would see a good move up, right? Because the Trump tariff. This actually did what I thought it was going to do, right? But I said to myself, all right, the day started around 6:40, right? So if the day started around 6:40, right? How this thing got up to 663. I asked myself, how far can we get, right? So basically, what I did, right? 667. I basically went in here and I sold this 667 call, right? Remember what I said, right? You have a spaceship. I'm an engineer, right? This is a spaceship. What goes up, right? Psh, this is fire. Psh, what goes up must come down, right? If you're a boy, right? I'm going to draw a boy. If you're a boy, I'm going to give him a hat, bro. That's a snapback. I gave him a snapback. If you're a boy, right, and you throw a rock in the air, right? Is that rock going to stay up forever? No, it's going to come back down. And this is exactly how I play 0DT trades, right? If I see a stock that runs up way too much, I'm going to start selling garbage calls, right? And I think I received $30 per contract, and I got a couple contracts on this. So as long as it stays below my 667, I made money. And I think I put the trade on right here. And as you can tell, right when I put the trade on, it just died. It ran out of steam, right? The ball will go up, run out of steam, and come down. The ball goes up, run out of steam, and it didn't even go down. It just stayed there, right? If I would have bought a put, I would have been killed. Since I sold a call, right, I was saved, and that's how I made the money. Well, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, link in bio. Today, not even today, this year is your year. Stop procrastinating, right? Learn a skill, right? Not even saying, let me teach you. Go learn a skill, learn something. This year, let's stop scrolling. Let's stop. And let's actually get our goals in line, right? Whatever you want to do in life, you can do. And all you have to do is believe in yourself. So I'll say this. If you can go spend $100 at the bar on a couple beers, you can go sign up for a course doing HVAC. I don't know. You can do something to better your life. Not even saying sign up for anything I got, but you can sign up for anything you want, being a yoga instructor. Just do something. Do something hard every single day. That's my advice to you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.